Guys, welcome back to We Read and Review Freely Society. It's your girl Kaiyah. We're about to get into chapter 3 of Dream Count by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. And if you hadn't had a chance to check out my chapter 2 review, go ahead and do that now. But first off, I just want to start off this video saying I appreciate you all being here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe and like button. I know I've put plenty of reminders on this channel for you all to do so, but I just wanted to remind you all because while I do want to grow this platform, I want to do so with the proper funding as well. So I've included some payment information in the caption below just to get it fast tracked because obviously, as you all can see, I'm not on that path yet to monetization on this channel. And you know me, I'm all about liberal thought, so I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, okay? And I want to be able to grow this platform not only for personal reasons, but also to get this platform to reach other people because I do think it is very important not only to inspire liberal thought, but to especially encourage people to read and to encourage especially my generation and the younger generations to read. So yes, Gen Alpha, I'm talking to you. And because my generation is Gen Z. And I know I revealed my age, but hey, at least you know us Gen Zers do like to read as well. It didn't just stop at the millennial generation, y'all. I promise. And also, I've provided a link in the caption as well to the Global State of Women's Fund. This is a fund that is actively collecting donations right now to support women across the US who have been laid off from their jobs, which may or may not have been a direct impact of everything that this current government administration is doing. However, I was one of the women that have been laid off, and I'm still currently looking for work within my field. And this this fund, it provides statistics saying that over 300,000 women have been are out of work here in the United States of America, and a majority of those women are also women of color, which means that I think it was saying like a majority of the women are like Black women, Indigenous women, women from marginalized communities here in the United States of America. And so, if you all could also donate to that fund, that would be very helpful as well, not only for my sake, but for once again for other women who have unexpectedly lost their jobs. And so, thank you in advance if you're able to. And once again, these are donations I'm asking for. I promise I'm not going to pop up at y'all houses and put it to y'all head to make y'all donate any money. It's a donation. Jumping right back in to our chapter 3 review. There is no title for this chapter. And if you all have watched my videos before, I usually read off of a script or I read notes. So that's why the only reason why I'm looking away from like the video and everything. It's not because I don't care or that I'm trying to be too lax, but I just want to be able to remember and recall everything that I learned of this chapter. And also, it just shows me reading to you all, which is like the whole premise of this channel. Okay, so chapter 3 is 21 pages, a decent amount of pages, because in our last video, I discussed how chapter 1 was a little bit too short at 14 pages, and chapter 2 was a little bit too long at 43 pages. So I think now we're getting on the right track with how long a chapter should be. And then, okay, page 57 to 60 is about Chia being chastised by her aunt for not having a husband or children, as she is 40, as now we learn she is 44 years old, and this takes place right before the COVID-19 lockdown in America, because at this point in the chapter she is packing in Nigeria to return to America. She then starts recalling the time one of her envious former female classmates hooked her up with a handsome guy named Chuka at a Nigerian wedding in the US a few years back. This man, Chuka, is at this point before the COVID-19 lockdown an ex of hers, as she explained to her aunt that it simply didn't work out between them, and the reasoning may be that Chia didn't feel as though he was her soulmate. Then we get into Page 60 to 63, it's about Chia meeting Chuka at a Nigerian wedding in Indiana State here in the US, and how he got to know her friends and family. It then veers into her friend Omelagor. I think that's how you pronounce her name. If any Nigerians could correct me, just let me know now. I try my best, y'all. I do. I really do. I try to sound it out and everything. So Amelia, I think that's how you pronounce her name, going through a mental health crisis while in grad school in America. And I can totally relate to that. If y'all haven't watched my video about me summarizing my experience with grad school here in the US, like, I definitely admitted that I went through like several mental health crises. Not just one, but like several, like many of them. This is similar to when Zakora, Chia's other close girlfriend, went through a mental health crisis when she was in grad school as well. Zakora still has some trauma that she hasn't dealt with because of the mental health crisis she went through in grad school, and this was made known when Chuka went to meet Zakora after she has her baby. Essentially, Chuka comes to be wary of Zakora and likes the rather decolonized mindset of Amelagor, both of whom, once again, are Chia's best friends. I forgot to mention Zakora is also her friend, not just Amelagor. Page 63 to 66, Chia describes Chuka's personality while dating him as traditional, boring, sort of demeaning and rude, and rather pompous. Earlier in the chapter, she even says his interior decoration style reminds her of her father's style. Page 66 to 68, Chia describes the moments in her relationship with Chuka that annoyed her and the moments with him that she liked. She seems conflicted in liking some of his traditional Nigerian ways and disliking others. Page 68 to 71, Chia recalls a moment in her relationship with Chuka where she felt jealous of other women who wanted him and how that made her more subservient to him. Page 72 to 74 is Chia describing the moment that she felt there was a breakthrough in Chuka understanding her and their engagement, and how that led to her and Chuka letting their families know about their plans to get married and to start planning the wedding ceremony. Page 75 to 79, which is the end of chapter 3, is Chia describing where her relationship with Chuka went downhill. From my perspective, Chia was a bit judgmental in Chuka's lifestyle choices, but it is clear that she wanted a love that felt like a quote unquote dream come true. And that feeling ultimately wasn't there by the time the real planning began for the ceremonies, wherein their families would have to meet each other in person. Chia told Chuka I'm sorry about this shaky video, y'all, because I have a tripod, but it's not good enough to be set up in my current situation. So I'm making do with what I have right now, which is just my hands and this little platform I have. But putting it on the platform is sort of difficult because I can't just like stand it up. Like I would need another pop socket thing to put on the back of my phone. So bear with me on that. So, from my perspective, Chia was a bit judgmental in Chuka's lifestyle choices, but it is clear that she wanted a love that felt like a dream come true, and that feeling ultimately wasn't there by the time real planning began for the ceremonies wherein their families would have to meet each other in person. Chia told Chuka she simply wasn't ready, which understandably enraged Chuka. But she had to go with what she felt in her heart and ultimately her intuition. It seems as though she still yearned to achieve greater career goals as a writer and didn't want to just settle into a lifestyle she considered mundane and predictable. She didn't want to do what was expected of her by all of the rather traditional women in her life either. My conclusive thought is this: Chia led this man on, even though I thought it made sense that she go with her intuition and end the relationship ahead of making bigger and more serious steps in her relationship. Interesting choices made, and being very descriptive about the moments in which Chia slightly withdraws from Chuka and the things in his life that make him who he is. I thought the transition to when Chia eventually calls the wedding off with Chuka could have been better. But maybe the abruptness was intentional. Maybe it happened exactly like that in real life. Let me know what y'all think when y'all get to the end of this chapter. Also, what do y'all think of cutting people off abruptly with no closure? Is it always necessary, only necessary some of the time, or is it totally unnecessary? I personally think it's necessary depending on the circumstances of the particular relationship. But then again, I usually have no problem cutting people off with no closure. That's just me though. And also, I wanted to share a little bit of a poem with you all that I wrote recently just to get some criticism on it. I don't know where this creative urge in me is coming from right now, but I'm embracing it and I'm glad that I'm able to really get back into my creative bag a little bit too and maybe explore some opportunities there as well because it's been a while since I've been able to perform and to really sit with myself and just create art. I don't usually write poems, but this is just my take on it, just me taking a stab at it. It's sort of deconstructed, so there's no real structure here. But once again, I'm not a poet really. I just had this idea to write this poem and I am a creative person. So that's why I'm sort of just trying at it because I know I don't have to be a certified poet to write a poem. Okay. The poem that I recently wrote is Sorry Mama, Love Letter to Africa. This is a poem by me, Kaiyah, and I wrote it on August 30th, 2025. Dear motherland, no apologies can rewrite the vivid memories of the past, but let me try to cast away the doubt that I can do right by you. Forgive me, forgive us. I try, we try to keep moving forward, but we are often swept from the path toward you, trying to uphold your pride and beauty, yet forgetting to uphold your morale and value. Yes, we remember we are one, but our selfish desires have led us astray. And this is why I pray we come together to find a way back to you. Forgive me, forgive us. I'm sorry, Mama. We are sorry, Mama. We will do better. We will try to do better. We are only humans. We love you, Mama. You fill our souls with hope, Mama. I'll never forget you again, Mother. Will never forget you again, Motherland. What inspired me to write this poem was currently feel a longing to be back in the motherland being Africa. And I say back in the motherland because I've never been to Africa physically, tangibly, but my ancestors were taken from Africa on both sides of my family. And I feel like there is a yearning to go back, an ancestral, spiritual yearning to go back to the motherland. And that is on my bucket list as well, to make a trip there and everything, to be on the land that my ancestors were on. And not only that, but I see so many things that are happening within my community, the African American community that is descended from enslaved Africans. And I think the term that we're going by now is foundational Black Americans. I see so many negative things that are arising, remaining consistent, I guess, at this point in our community that disappoints me. And I really wonder if us being so assimilated here to the US is the cause of it, or what exactly is the cause of it. It just seems like there's so many demons that plague my community. And while I don't really know where it it all comes from, I do have a feeling that there is something to us not being attached to the right values and everything that we could take from other communities in the diaspora. Because while I know that we love to feel like and believe that we're the best and that, we're in competition with other people in the diaspora, I do understand that ultimately we do have foundational unity, and that it's truly all of us a part of the diaspora against everyone else. And I do value that sisterhood that we have, and to be gender neutral, brotherhood, sisterhood. I do like that familial connection that we have. And I just wanted to sort of write an apology letter to Africa saying that my community could do better. While we're not perfect, and while our reasonings and for how we act and the things that we do are somewhat justified, or at the very least understandable, it's like we do have the potential to do better. And there are some of us within my community who want to do better and want peace ultimately, and want to achieve that on our own without assistance a lot of the times. And that's the place in my heart where this is coming from, because there are times where I have defended my community against some of the things that we have done. But as I grow older, I do understand that there are actions we can take to undo some of the things that we have learned from other communities that I feel like we shouldn't have taken from other communities, or learned or picked up or brought back to our community as well. So, yeah, let me know what y'all think about the poem. Like I said, it's very deconstructed. I know it doesn't have a rhyme scheme, but this is coming from the heart, okay? This is coming from the soul, okay? So, not too much on me. Thanks, guys. Don't forget, once again, to subscribe to the channel and like this video. And stay tuned for more. Next time, we're getting into chapter 4. That rhymed, y'all. That rhymes. I might just be a good poet one day, or rapper. Who knows?